Good morning. Welcome to Gruber Power Services Power Hour. My name is Claude Dixon.
And I'm Elvis Venter.
Well, we got, I think, a humdinger of a show today.
What Episode 21.
Yeah, we've been doing this. I can't believe it's 21 episodes. I think that's amazing in itself. But you know what? Like always, we want to start off thanking with some thank yous because we've got a number of them. I want to start off with, and we're talking about subscribers, people that have helped us along the way. We're not quite at the 1,000 that we thought we would be at for today's show, but it's not over.
It hurts my heart, but you pulled out a really smart thing. You said by the end of the show.
By the end of the show,
so
exactly.
We're given a little grace period.
Yeah, where are we right now?
We're at 9:23 from what I can tell, but that's been changing by the minute and by the minute.
Yeah. So what makes this really cool is if you look at last Friday when we were sitting in here, we were at 777 subscribers.
Wow.
We're at 923. So that was an increase of 145 subscribers so far in a week period. That's been our biggest increase ever. So we're definitely trending right, which is cool, but we're still not, 77 subscribers short of the 1,000.
Just yet.
Yeah. So, but some people to thank that really gave us a boost. I want to start off with Elvis's wife, @𝐓𝐢𝐦𝐞. Huge impact. She has her own network out there. The network, I think, of the Argonauts and the Kraken or something, because she turned it on last night, burning midnight oil, and boy, did we get some subscribers. So, 𝐓𝐢𝐦𝐞, if you're watching out there, thank you very, very, very much.
Thanks, babe. I love you.
Yes.
Aww.
Another family member of Elvis's, Priscilla. It's your sister.
That's my sister.
In a long line of sisters, right?
Yeah, 5 sisters. She's one of my baby sisters by only about maybe a year and a half, but she thinks she's my older sister.
Yeah,
and I'm the baby brother. I did not know that her Instagram.
Yeah.
She has 2. She has a personal and she has her own fashion one. Over 9,000 followers.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that is impressive. I was like, don't go, and I know I appreciate she never flexed it. I never knew. So I appreciate that she check me out. I got 9,000 followers. She was fantastic.
Yeah, hopefully one day GPS
so she's
can
done
get
it
there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she, she made a push and she reposted. And then my other sister-in-law, Sarah, a lot of people, Claude. Like, I'm just blown away by
let's keep hitting them. Let's keep hitting them.
They deserve it.
And one of a partner of ours loomed large in this thing. MCS, Mission Critical Services. They went ahead and unleashed their power with getting us subscribers. I think everyone on their team subscribed to our channel, and they're our business partner on the East Coast.
But they're friends too, because Chris Newman is a friend that we both developed from me being on a different company, and when I was, kind of not in the workforce, he reached out and he kept on telling me about you guys. Like, he is such a phenomenal person and human, and him spearheading MCS is just, they've helped us get to the 103 plus within a day.
Yeah.
We're at over 103 plus. People are coming in the office and saying, what are you guys doing? What's the secret sauce? It's like, this is, like the McDonald's secret sauce.
To your point, they latched on late too.
Man.
So this was like the last couple of days.
Appreciate you guys beyond.
Yeah, MCS got involved, Chris Newman, Adam, and they've just, in fact, I've been getting text messages from Adam. He's actually watching the increase and helping us out.
Thank you, Tyler, Chris, the whole MCS gang and family. It means more than anything.
Yes. And you see a rock, a crystal sitting in the middle of the table. I want to give a shout out to Liliana Cayali from Buenos Aires, Argentina, who also helped us out getting subscribers. Those who know me really well know that I'm a rock person. And this lady is awesome. And I wanted to show you just a quick image of her. And gosh, I don't have the number. I didn't put the number.
And I'm going to say her, let me say her name, Liliana
Hold on one second.
Cayali.
Jesse, can you scroll through those images? I didn't give her, she's one of them, but I didn't put the number on my sheet, so you're going to have to find it. You'll see her at her shop, and she's standing there in her shop. I just want to...
Yeah, it's 55. You want that one up?
Yeah, just show her real quick, because she was instrumental. That's who I purchased this crystal from. There she is right there. That's the rock lady right there. Liliana, go ahead with the name.
Liliana Cayali.
Yes, right
Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Exactly.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Liliana. We love you.
And her shop, for those of you who are interested in rocks, her shop, she has 2 of them in Scottsdale down there by Fashion Square. Just Google the stones.
Great area.
Yeah, stones, crystals, and fossils. If you Google that, you can find her. She is awesome. Thank you, Liliana.
We got a few more.
Yes. And then Herb Wilson in Parker, Arizona, and the Argonauts.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Herb.
Herb Wilson and the Argonauts, thank you very much for helping us get to where we are right now in subscribership.
Great group.
John Van Sweargen, I wanted to just shout him out. He's one of our account managers here, and he latched on late about, a day and a half ago, and he got us some real quick subscribers in his network. So, John, thank you very much.
I call him Johnzo.
Yeah. And then last but not least, our workforce, obviously.
Our group, our family, Gruber Power. You guys came through. You guys helped out. And right now, we're asking you more than ever for this last 45 minutes that me and Claude really can't reach out and get people. And, hey, you forgot Grant.
Well, no, I haven't.
Oh.
That's going to be the introduction, so I haven't forgotten him.
Okay. We'll save the best for last.
Yeah.
But he's done so much, and GPS workforce, and we're asking GPS and we're asking everyone else that we mentioned if you can help us get to that. And we're so eager to give away. We're so eager to reciprocate.
Let's flash it.
Flash it.
Image 007.
Let's go,
Put that up there. Put that up there.
That's the real deal.
Okay, if we're able to hit this 1,000 subscribers by the time this podcast is over with, you see that 65-inch flat screen color TV right there? That's what we're going to raffle out at the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a whole process for that. So if you're watching at the end of the podcast, we hit 1,000. We're going to get your information. Elvis is going to put it somewhere, shake it up, and then we're going to draw out a name, and that's going to be who the winner is. So help us get there. We still got an hour, right?
We still got an hour. We still got 53 minutes to get this going. We could do it, but we encourage everyone. And it's so doable because just between a handful of us yesterday, between my wife, my sister, you, me, Grant, other people just pushing it. We've done so much. So you guys have already helped along the way. But I'm going to give you so much credit, Claude. You have. From day one, from episode 1, you've also done this. No, not the guy behind you, but you.
Oh.
You, Claude. You've done so much.
Okay.
you take it. I know it's hard. You're all like you're breaking down. Like, no. You are... I call you Coach Prime. I call you Coach. You know why? Because you have that same spirit, that same approach, same mentality. And you're trying to get everyone to believe in this, to believe in the system, believe in Gruber, what we're doing. We're not the be all end all, but we are someone that we're learning and growing and evolving in the Gruber company, in the world of UPS. Yes. I know for a lot of people, they're like, what is that? You've made that reference. You thought it was shipping and you thought it was the brown van, but it's so much that we believe in. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're reaching out to people.
Right. Exactly.
You want to hit some of those quick?
Oh, yeah.
We got some good mornings.
Is that the top one?
Yeah.
Okay. Rhonda Haas from YouTube. Good job, guys. Leonard Hodges. Good morning, gentlemen. Frank Leone. Good morning, gentlemen. Logan the Fifth.
Logan V, that's my nephew.
Okay.
He's one of our subscribers.
All right. Hey, Elvis, how's it going?
It's going great. You see me here.
And let me shout out Bill West here. Bill West is one of MCS's fabulous technicians up in the Northeast, does a lot of work for us. Good morning to you, Bill.
Side note, I've known Bill and we've worked with Bill. Bill West is one of the top FEs.
Yes.
He's got a fantastic name out there. There's that good there's a good
the mojo.
Yeah, but then people got the good mojo, but you have a good impression on people, and you got the bad. Like Bill has a great name out there, great reputation. That was the word I was. His rep is not 1 star on Google; it's 5 stars.
Exactly,
it's everything. He's one of the go-tos. A lot of people go to MCS. It's one of.
Here's what's since we're talking about Bill. I just want to broaden the umbrella a little bit. Here's one thing that's cool about MCS. Mm-hmm. It's like, I've never done this before with I guess you can call them. They're our partner, but on paper, they could be a competitor.
Correct.
But, Chris and I, who runs MCS, we made an agreement in the very beginning that, hey, you know what? We're not going to take each other's customers.
No.
And you know what? You have free access to my technicians. And Chris said, you know what? You have free access to my technicians. And I can call Bill without getting Chris's.
Yes.
Okay, I can just call Bill out of the blue. And I've done that multiple times, getting his input and advice on different projects. So again, thank you, MCS. Another one from Rhonda Haas. I will have to visit Lilly.
Mm-hmm.
Family member?
No, you're Liliana.
Oh, Liliana.
Yeah,
yes.
you know her
yes.
as
Rhonda, please go. And if you want us to if we want us to put the address up there, I can have Jesse Google that, and we can get that up there so you know exactly what the address is. You'll love her. You'll love her. And then another MCS person here, Adam Cruz, actually is Chris's secondhand man. He runs the office. He does work in the field, but he runs the office. Adam Cruz, you were instrumental in getting us subscribers too. I know you're still working on right now. Glad to be a part of it. So thank you very much.
And then my wife, Valine, wrote, she said, go Gruber Power. Love you, babe. Happy to help Gruber. She's been a great backbone and support for me. And she knows, the synergy and the relationship me and Claude have. And it's great to see. Very excited, very happy, and very grateful and humbled.
Yes. So before we introduce our special guest, one little shout out to next week's show. Remember, on November 3rd, we have Justin coming back. Justin Brownlow, he's one of our senior account managers. And he's going to be, we're going to finish up that segment we were doing just on service. What that's all about, just customer service, just talking in generalities, basically on what his mojo is and how that's been effective for him in his selling process, but also in customer relationship.
I'm very excited to get him back on because I've been wanting him. I've been just very anxious to get him back on and finish that and continue it. Might turn to a part 3. Yeah. You never know.
Yes. So let's go ahead and introduce our special guest.
Drum roll.
Yeah, here we go. Hold on one sec, Grant. Grant has a graduate degree. Grant Edward Mobel. Just a little bit. We go back 4 decades. This guy was actually my college roommate. And, we've had a relationship for a long time. He has seen all my ups and downs in life, in my adult life. I've seen all of his. And, one thing my dad used to tell me is you'll be lucky if you find one friend in a lifetime. And I've been fortunate enough to have found just a great friend, a great person. I bounce a lot of things off of him. He has a serious profile. It's not in the industry that we're in. But let me tell you why I invited Grant to the show. Because Grant, in the very beginning, when we had 2 subscribers
and 2 episodes,
and he was one of them. Yeah. Okay, because he found out we were doing this, and you know what? He turned on his television.
It's so true.
And watched the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, and
regular chatter too.
Yes, and called me afterwards and said, "Hey, you know what? Great show." And of course, I asked him for some feedback, and I'm going to go into a story in that once he comes on the set. But graduate degree in gemology.
Is he required to have a graduate degree to be your friend?
No.
Okay.
No. Long before that.
I was like, man, that's what it requires. I'm like, I don't qualify.
Yeah. A bachelor's degree in communications, specializing in broadcasting. And again, I'll show you the story there. But just a good person, an extensive background in sales management, a bunch of different industries. And along the way, one thing that really impressed me about Grant professionally is that in every sales job, and I said every sales job this guy ever had, he was the top salesperson.
Wow.
The top guy. Okay. And I'm just not saying that. He's got the proof to back up. I've seen it because I've been with him through his life journey. It's awesome to watch. I've learned a lot from him. So Grant Mobel, please come on the set.
Great to have you. Applause. Cheers. Yeah.
I need a clapping
come on up.
Yeah,
sound effect.
He came into town from the Sac area, specifically Rockland, California, but that's a Sacramento metropolitan area. So Grant, welcome to the show. Get yourself situated.
Unmute that mic.
I already did.
Okay.
And it should be. Go ahead. You're good to go.
So let's put up image 44. This is the little story I want to tell about Grant to kick this off, because it's gone full circle. Image 44.
Let's say hi, Grant. Say hi to Grant first so we can hear him. Grant, say hi.
Hello. How is everybody?
There he is. Hey, did you guys match the hairstyles?
Yeah, we did.
We did. Same barber.
We watched each other lose our hair. Yep.
That's real
Along the way.
friendship.
I got that image coming up once.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Oh my
this
gosh,
is
who the
Grant.
heck is that?
Look at that guy.
Wow.
This is
I don't know
Grant
him.
at Oregon State University. He was broadcasting the news
Wow.
for Oregon State University. And of course, we were roommates during this time period. And the thing about this is Grant used to come back home and ask us. I had two other roommates ask us, so how do you think I did? Give me some feedback. And I'm telling you, we would just like
Rip into him.
come on, you know what? We're 21 years old.
Yeah.
Exactly. We would just rip into him and he would say, but you know what? He would take it and he would go to his next broadcast and he would try to improve. He'd come back again. But guess what? It's gone full circle now because the first question I asked him was, how did I do? How did I do? 40 years later. And he's like giving me feedback. Well, you could have done this. You could have said this. Sit up in the chair, fix your glasses, this, that, and the other. You know?
Yeah, I know, and I'm so happy because you gave me on mine, and I think I fixed them. And now when I think of it, I'm like, man, he must have felt so good to be like, finally, the time has come to me to rip into Claude.
Yeah. So Grant, just a little bit from you on, just kind of like just some generalities along the way. What are your thoughts and life thoughts, things like that, before we get started with what the topic's going to be?
And bringing you here.
Yeah.
Wow. Wasn't expecting that question.
Yeah.
Life thoughts, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Life thoughts with Grant.
Well, in regards to what?
Like customer service. I mean, you've been a salesperson, various forms.
To me, the reason why I think I was successful, and not trying to pat myself on the back, is the most important
Well, you are
element.
retired. You are retired.
I am retired.
So you won.
So the reason why I think that I was as successful, and I tried to be number one in every business that I had the opportunity to be a salesperson for, is I listen to my customer. I interact with my customer.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to your customer is going to get you to the sale without having to sell the customer. So, matter of just making relationships, making sure that you're consistent, where you keep asking, questions that are important to them. That's going to give you the reasons and the ability to be able to go further with them.
Right.
And let me ask a question on that. Do you believe that same method you just said to listening to your customer, do you believe that one of your first encounters with Gruber was probably, I think, was through me?
Yeah.
Did you think that was the same concept here? Because to give you a little bit of context, a few months ago, Claude just sends me a message or an email, says, hey, I need you to work with my best friend Grant on something. I was like, oh man, this is daunting already. Like, am I being tested here? Am I being punked? Is he checking on me, seeing what do I do?
Yeah, I had to see if you were legit, man.
Yeah.
But the most important thing that you did was you called me. Just because you told Claude you were going to call me doesn't mean that you were going to call me. So you called me, you asked and listened to what I was telling you, what I was even interested in. I had an electric vehicle, wanted to get a power supply to be able to charge it up. And you gave me some great information because you were listening to, you asked me questions that elicited ways for you to tell me of what I could do.
Yeah. And did I sell you?
And you did not sell me.
I didn't.
You suggested such a good suggestion that I didn't have to necessarily. And you even said, look, if it's not right for you to get a UPS, then
don't do it.
I'm not going to try to sell you a
No,
UPS. So here's what you can do instead. And the can do instead actually worked out better.
And other can do was, I said, hey, you're going to save the most. You're going to get the best out of it if I'm not touching it, because I don't need to take a certain whatever. How the industry works is when I'm supplying it, even if it's through my vendor, I have to take a percentage, as a vendor. And I was like, look, I found it for these places for you. Click, look it up, find it, and I'm very happy. And it's great to see that, and it's encouraging because that's how we started. And I was like, yeah. And we've said this many times, we're not here just for the quick buck. Yeah. We're not a cookie cutter. And that's the other thing. We don't, on our side, on my side, I don't do power blocks, Teslas, the little charging ones you can buy. I just looked it up. I did some research, and instead of just sending you, hey, we don't deal with this, can you go somewhere else? Or, hey, here's a contact, why don't you reach out? Good luck. I didn't do that. We didn't do that. We said, we'll see what we can do to help you and make sure you get a solution, even if we have no involvement, no exact like dollar earned or profit. Like, no, for us, it's like the relationship.
Yeah.
You're going to come to us now and you're always going to go to him and say, hey, I need some help. Steer me in the right direction. Be my guidance. Be my, hey, is this kosher or not? And I'm so happy that that's how it ended up. And I think I passed the test.
Yeah.
You did. And then it also allowed me to learn a little bit more about what Gruber Power does.
Correct.
And now I understand that anybody and everybody that rents, owns a house, or anything that you plug in could utilize a UPS.
Correct.
If, God forbid, your power goes out, that UPS could save you.
Correct.
Whether it be a CPAP machine, could be your refrigerator.
Right.
So
it could
true.
be a number of different appliances or electronics that you need to make sure that don't go down.
See why this guy's number one?
Yeah,
See this guy?
I
This
was
guy's
just
spitting
going
this stuff out. You know how long it took?
I was gonna
you know
send
how
him a
long
purchase
it took me
order
to
right now.
articulate what power and all that is?
That was
You know,
beautiful.
It took me 2 years. This guy's been at it
I have a
1 week.
teardrop. You just can't see it. Like, I'm about to buy from him, and I'm like, wait, but I'm in the company here. I'm like, no. I'm going to send you a
Matter
PO.
of fact, I have.
I know. First time I met you, I was like, why am I giving him my wallet?
Yeah.
When you
All right.
told me.
So Grant. So everybody. So Grant is a graduate gemologist, and at the tail end of the show, the Did You Know segment is going to be basically about gems, and there are some phenomenal things and some Did You Knows that he's got that
Dedicated
shocking to me.
to him.
But let's get back into the business now. But I do want to bring Grant in because we're going to be talking about our service contract or agreement offerings. Okay. And I'm just going to focus on the core products that we offer. I will mention that we do offer a parts warranty. Okay. We do offer a rental agreement, but a UPS rental agreement, but I'm not going to focus on those things. What I'm going to focus on are our three core offerings, what we call a silver service agreement, a gold service agreement, and a platinum service agreement. So since we have a graduate gemologist here, I'm going to ask you a question. Help me understand why platinum is the more valued metal.
That's a great question. It's basically because of how much platinum is out and where you can get it versus how much gold is actually in this world or on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
So platinum is a rare metal because it's not as much found.
Okay. Well, our service agreements are kind of like set up the same way. So the silver maintenance agreement, which we're going to go into here in a second, is kind of like the bare bones type scenario. The gold gives you a little bit more, and then platinum is basically 7x24 full coverage. So let's focus on silver. The silver maintenance agreement is a PM, what we call a PM only agreement, a preventative maintenance agreement. So all we're offering at that point is to go out there twice a year on a 6-month increment and basically do a health check on your UPS. So there is no call window. There's no response time. So if you have an issue, there's nothing built into your contract that would automatically have us respond. Now, don't get me wrong. If you call us, we will respond, but it's a billable type of scenario, okay? Because you have the bare bones project. You have the bare bones contract. So there's no call window either. So it's not like we are scheduling. We call you, we try to schedule, and we make it happen basically at your convenience. The other thing too is that the PM is not mandatory. It's not mandatory. So if you can't get it, and there's a reason behind that, if you can't get it done or if you cancel out, it's not mandatory for us to go. All right. But if you look at a gold and a platinum agreement, you'll notice that verbiage changes. It becomes mandatory, and we'll tell you why. There's more risk involved with a gold and a platinum agreement on our end. I'm talking about on the company's end. But so that's that piece of it.
But I'd like to add too, so when an FE, an engineer or technician shows up and does a PM, if it's your silver, gold, or platinum, and Claude, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, you're not just every 6 months and good luck. It's we come out, we PM the unit, we check all the requirements, and then we provide a service report.
Yes.
So you have to understand, we give you a report card, and we tell you, hey, your batteries are low. Hey, your power module's look a little off. There was a noise from the fan. We give you a report card. We give you a status. So you're not like, oh my gosh, what'd you do?
Right.
So then when something does happen, and for the silver, for example, you say, hey, well, why are you charging me for this? I'm like, well, we told you about it 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Told you about it 5 months ago. And we gave you our FE. And that's another thing. Our FE's out there. He doesn't recommend what we want. He recommends per the industry standard and what's going on with your unit. I just had a service. It passed. It had no issues, nothing. I'm like, I didn't call him and say, hey, just so you know, in a year. I'm like, no, there was no recommendations and requirements. So you know that if we give you the report and we let you know and we communicate with you that this, and then it happens eventually, you can't be so, oh my gosh,
Yes.
what's going on?
Well, let's dig into that a little bit.
We have to.
I want to be a little bit more specific. So the first part of the PM, the other thing too is this part of this process is common to all 3 service agreements. So the PM
Correct.
is common to all 3.
All 3.
You're going to get that in all of them. Nothing is going to change there, okay? But the first thing is the visual inspection.
Correct.
And it's more than just visual. It's basically, I would call it a sensory inspection, because you can use your nose, you can use your ears, you can use your eyes, okay?
Mhm.
And those 3 senses alone can tell you a lot about what's going on with your UPS before you even do a power check with a meter,
Correct.
okay? Or a voltage check or a current or amperage check.
Or you do the logs, you do it
Exactly.
on the display, like for an APC, very user friendly. You go in there and they'll show you how much charge you have left, how much load you're using. So if you're using 40%, it'll say there, and it says your batteries are charged at 65. So it's telling you these things too.
Yes.
And then our FE, knowing that and it's information they look for, they provide it and they tell us, and they'll say, hey, you got 6 months of good use of these batteries.
Right.
So you're not caught off guard.
And the other piece too that's very critical in the beginning, and again, this is common to all 3 service agreements, is the environment. The environment,
Huge.
okay, analysis that is done when that field engineer first walks on site into that UPS room, before he even opens up the door to the UPS to inspect the internal components. He is, first of all, if I'm walking in there, the first thing I'm going to check, because you have a battery system, is whether or not your air conditioner is working.
You have any cooling systems?
Yes, because if you walk in there and that room is hot, you already got a problem. You can like almost stop right there. All right.
Correct.
So it's a visual inspection. It's a sensory inspection. You're looking for those types of things, and then you go into the more nitty gritty. And this is all on your service report. It flows this way. You go into the internal component checks.
Correct.
Where you're measuring voltage, you're measuring the current. You know, you have your thermal scan gun out. You're doing temperatures on the batteries, the internal
Correct.
components, trying to identify hot spots that may become an issue for the UPS. You're doing that whole piece, and that's all numerical based.
Yes.
You know, you'll see all those values. You're checking the load. Is the UPS on overload? To Elvis's point, you're looking at the event log, looking at the alarms if there are any, and you're basically writing a health check for the customer.
Yeah.
It's like you going to the doctor and getting a physical. That's basically what this is. And that report goes to the customer, and they look at it, and there's recommendations. Hopefully there's none. Hopefully everything is within manufacturer's specification and there's no issues. But if there are, they're identified at that point, and then our job is basically done. That's what was purchased. It was a silver maintenance agreement. Here it is. If you want further work done, then it becomes a whole different
Correct.
process.
If you need batteries, if you need certain things within that unit, then so forth. Let's hit some of the comments on Bill
There's
West.
a good amount of them coming in today.
Teamwork makes it all work. Awesome. Rhonda Haas, I'll have to visit Lilly. Adam Cruz, glad to be part of it. Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you, guys. This is Christian.
Is this the Christian
What's
that
up?
works here?
I want to say yes.
Okay.
What's up?
What's up, Christian?
What's going on, sir? Scrooge McDuck. Will this be the spooky episode of Power Hour? See how I changed my voice? As it's the last show until after. I don't know. I guess. Yes. Correct. Yeah, I guess it's the last episode. But I don't feel it's so spooky. Hey, side note, do you realize the color pattern? It's annoying. No one's written into it yet. But I wasn't, we look like the American flag, but I was going for that ice cream, the white, blue, and red popsicle.
Oh, the
Of course she's going to know.
Come on,
Of
Cassandra.
course she's going to know. She's going to know.
It's a bomb pop.
Yeah, there you go.
That was the approach I was going
Yeah.
for. Look, we look like a bomb pop, right?
Yeah, it's a bomb pop.
Cassandra.
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 Can you do us a favor?
What's up?
You see the next one from Rhonda Haas? She says, sounds great. Please show the address.
Hi.
Can you Google that address real quick?
Hi.
Stones, crystals, and fossils in Scottsdale. And maybe I Jesse
let me
can
pull that
type.
up.
Yeah.
IT manager says we need to hire you.
Oh, wow.
You're looking for a job. He's ready to
That
employ.
sounds fantastic.
Now,
No, thanks.
yeah, that means a lot. Hey, guess what? Guess what? That means a lot because we know who the IT manager is. And if that guy says hire him, he's already got his wallet out. Okay? He's already got his wallet out.
Yep. YouTube, Highlander, awesome to have him as a guest. Kindness is always free. Highlander's a regular,
Yeah.
and we really
Yeah, he is.
appreciate him. Yep. Juan Garcia, yeah, they're coming in today. Wonderful story,
Oh,
great
Juan
podcast.
Garcia. I know that guy.
Please, why don't you
Great
read
guy.
it?
How did you skip all the way
One
down
of the
to
best
Juan
jewelers in San Francisco.
Juan Garcia? How'd you skip all the way
Oh,
down
I
to
did. Sorry.
You got
Highlander.
Brandon Realm.
I'm
Such
sorry.
a great story.
I
Was he
pulled a
talking?
Grant.
Was he talking about your story and your 55 first cousins, or was he
No,
talking
the
about our
story
story?
with either the story with you two or the story with me and him.
Okay.
Either way, it's all in there. Justin Stanley.
Where's Lenny? Okay.
We'll make sure to have Lenny. Right now, he's just tuned in and he's working in the depot, but we'll make sure to bring him back on. Juan Garcia, you know him really well.
Very
That's a
good.
buddy of yours. Wonderful story,
Yeah.
great podcast.
Who's Juan Garcia?
So Juan Garcia, I actually worked with Juan Garcia. He worked for my father for years. He started as a high schooler, came and he's actually a gemologist as well. So he worked for my dad long enough where he went to school and got his gemology degree, and he was with my dad for as long as my dad had his business, pretty much.
Okay. Guess what? Guess
Like
what?
my
Grant?
brother.
Guess what? Put
What?
it image 77
77, all right, let's
because
see.
Grant just alluded to his dad 3 times. So I just threw in an image of his late father. I just wanted to. There he is, right there. That's Grant's father, right
Wow.
there. Yeah, and his that chess set
Grant,
right
are
there.
you a chess player?
Kinda.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
I
so-
can play chess. Am I a chess player means am I good?
Yeah.
Nah, not necessarily. We'll find out. Play Claude here in a little bit.
Yeah, Claude is the master.
Yeah, so I knew eventually your dad would probably come up. So that's a picture of Grant's father, the late Sidney Mobel.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And what
That's
that board
fascinating.
is that you see was originally out for $1 million.
Wow.
It's a gold and sterling Monopoly chess set. He also did make a Monopoly set as well. And what you can't see is there's a bunch of gemstones on each one of those pieces.
Is that where you got that idea from, Claude?
Yeah, actually, I did. Look at
So-
the style.
Side story, Grant. I don't know if you know this one. He got me back into chess, and I've been playing him, and he's a great teacher, and he beats me, but I get lucky, and the stars align, and I'll beat him here and there. But for a lot of his chess, he keeps bringing. He's got like 18 of them, fantastic chess pieces and boards. And a lot of them, if they look the same, or like the pawns look like the rooks, or the bishops look like the pawns, he started putting gems on certain ones. And I was like, that's a good idea. But now I know where he got it from your father. Yeah.
Good idea.
And that piece
Great idea.
that piece right there is actually in the Smithsonian, right?
That is.
Yes.
Wow.
That's one of 19 pieces that's in the Smithsonian collection in Washington, D.C.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
Highlander says, what does the background represent? Claude, you want to touch on that?
Yeah, that image there is from the movie Tron,
Yep.
and that whole movie, if I'm not mistaken, was basically filmed artist conception on a circuit board, on a PCB board. The whole movie, they're running around. They're inside of a PCB board and they're running around on it. Various types of vehicles, motorcycles, that type of thing.
Rhonda Haas says, what do you smell to indicate a problem when you go into a UPS?
Burned wires,
Burned wires.
sulfur
Sulfur from the batteries.
From the batteries, yes.
So, Claude, I'm going to throw this up.
Hmm?
I'm assuming this is it. I'm not really sure. You're going to have to tell me.
Highlander says, hi, Cassandra.
Hi, Highlander.
Yes, that's it.
Best friends forever.
So that's the address right there to Liliana's shop. Very nice lady. I can't read that. 7085
85 East 5th Avenue.
East 5th Avenue.
Sniper
Scottsdale.
over here. You got a
Scottsdale.
sniper with that vision.
85
251.
251.
I realize you guys make the perfect like human, because He struggles with his vision, but hears really good. And you struggle with your hearing, but see fantastic. You see? You guys are literally, yeah, really, you guys are the perfect like transformer robot.
These are prescription glasses too, though. So I don't know if I have a
But
double
you can see
Doppler on
there,
that
and
one.
Claude's like with his binoculars, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You guys are, that's why you guys hang out to help each other out. Which are, I get it.
Right.
It makes sense.
Look at the other one that just came in up there.
You got to read this one. This is hats off to the great Chris Newman.
Yeah, Chris Newman chimed in. He's watching now. Chris is probably driving
Great
around,
to have you.
around in his
He's
truck.
busy.
But Chris, thank you for chiming in, and again, thank you for all the help getting us subscriptions. That's been awesome.
And he says, "Love the red, white, and blue popsicle."
Yeah, Chris.
I had the popsicle.
Chris
too.
is the president and owner of Mission Critical Services.
Fantastic.
And
Fantastic
a great
person.
person to work with.
Great friend, person, business ally, and business partner. Fantastic across the board.
Okay, so let's go to gold. Let's go to the gold service agreement. So basically, everything that we told you about the PM is in the gold service agreement. All right, so I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what is different. So the gold service agreement includes a call window. All right, and the call window is from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Normal business hours.
All right, and keep in mind that the gold service agreement also covers parts.
Yes.
All right, it's going to cover emergency calls that crop up during that call window. So if you purchase this service agreement and an emergency call comes in between 8 and 5, that's covered. We're going to dispatch with a best effort continuous response.
Correct.
If you read the terms and conditions, it says 8 hours or less. Okay, but we have adopted the continuous on-site best effort response, and we have found that we beat the 8-hour time frame most of the time.
Cloud parts, so that means it covers everything.
It covers everything except
You said parts, so it has to cover everything.
except capacitors, which are pretty much batteries, and the batteries in the system. So those two components or pieces or parts, whatever you want to call them,
It's parts.
are not covered in the gold agreement.
Claude, it's parts. It covers everything, right?
No.
Exactly. Thank you. This is one thing I go through all the time.
Yeah,
A
with who?
customer says, "Hey, with customers."
Oh, I thought you were going to say with me, but
That's
anyway.
a different story. Yeah. There's other stuff that you give me a hard time with. This is the first time we probably agree in a long time. Yeah, it's interesting when they're like, "Hey, I need a part." I'm like, "Okay, I need a battery module," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's not a part." I understand it's a physical part, but it's not a part in the UPS. So that's something I always have to explain, sometimes educate, and give them a rundown of what parts mean.
It's a part of a part.
Yeah, or if it's just because it's a part of the machine doesn't mean it's a part. Part is like you said, it's that covers is mainly boards.
But you know what I found?
Uh-oh.
You know what I found? The statement you just made about, sometimes you have to explain is when I become involved in these situations, is the customer didn't know. So the
That's-
first question I asked the customer is what? Did you what?
know?
No. Did you receive the
Terms and agreement.
conditions?
Yeah.
Well, no, I haven't seen them. Well, okay. Well, we need to get you a copy of that. So it is absolutely critical on the front end with our customers.
That's why I started that question, because I was wondering if you're going to talk about that. And it's the service's job. It's the customers. I mean, the service, it's our job, the account manager's job.
The front end.
To explain what's covered or not.
Exactly.
Because it's the same thing of like, don't pull a car salesman approach of everything's covered. And then you bring in your car. It's like, well, bumper to bumper, but what's in a bumper? Everything. It's like, no, but that isn't. Well, what bumper are you talking about? The one that fell off? Like, I don't like that approach. So I do appreciate it here is that we have these services so we can explain, because it's just like brakes.
Tires, too.
Tires. It's that same approach.
Yeah.
So the customer needs to be told and notified and explained by the account manager and service group there to reiterate that and say, because I don't like it if the account manager did his part and then the service doesn't, or the other way where the account manager doesn't, and then the customer's like, well, I thought this was covered. I thought this is like, no, it's not.
Why do you think, and again, I don't know if you know it or not, but why do you think the PM in the gold and platinum agreement is mandatory? Why do you think that is?
For me personally, it's to point out what's with the unit. For me, it's to tell you the status, the health of your unit, so you know. For me, that's why the PM's there, to identify anything like that.
Okay, well, here's the reason.
Go ahead.
And you know, I'm an upfront guy.
Please.
It's called risk.
Yeah,
it's called risk.
Because we have to know, too, what we're saying yes
PM
to.
better get done, okay, because you don't want to do it 3 months later.
Agreed.
And something went wrong with that
Agreed.
UPS that could have been prevented, and
Totally
then it ends
agreed.
up costing you $10,000, $15,000 to repair.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a clause in the terms and conditions that the PM is mandatory, and if it goes 60 days late, guess what?
You have to come on and do it again.
No, the contract is void.
Oh, it's void.
Yes.
But we still have to come on and do another PM after that if once the contract goes void.
But at that point, it would be a billable PM because you don't know what you're going to find. Now, here's the thing. Now, the first question is no, the majority of the time that doesn't happen. We are really, really good. You know, most of the time we're at 99.8% PM compliance, but there are those times it could happen once a year where you're in that predicament, and we try to help the customer out. But I'm just saying on paper, if I'm in front of it and I'm educating the customer, I'm going to let them know that because I want to get that PM done.
It's being straight up and being transparent, and that's what really matters. And that's how, like, my conversation. I think that's why we clicked. I think that's why you guys are, because of the transparency. He said when he introduced you, like, you've been there for him from day one. You didn't hold punches when you told him, hey, in your life, because he said he's been there for you.
Because you did offer to sell me a UPS, but
Correct.
you also listened to what I was going to be using it for.
Correct.
And then suggested something that wouldn't make me have to get a UPS necessarily.
It didn't.
Then you said, if that doesn't work, by all means, call me. I'll send one right out to you.
Yeah. But I was being straight and transparent, and
Absolutely.
I was telling you, and it's the same concept with your guys' friendship, relationship. And like, he's called you and said, hey, I'm going through this, or what'd you think of the show? And you're like, okay, it's time to roll up the sleeves and tell you, hey, you did this wrong. Hey, I'm going through this in my life.
I think I emailed him a list.
Yeah, but it was very helpful though.
It was
very
scroll.
helpful.
I saw the scroll. It was like a dictionary. I was like, oh man, we got a lot of work to do on this show.
Well, you know,
there was good stuff on there.
You know,
too.
it's one thing to get a list, but it's another thing to get a list from a person that you know has your best interests at heart.
When you ask for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I always tell my boys too.
So here's another one I got. You got me last show, so I'm going to give you a gotcha. It's not really a gotcha, but why do you think we have, if the customer moves his equipment without telling us, why do you think that's a big deal? That's part of this. That's part of the terms and conditions. The movement
Can I give a guess?
of equipment. Yeah.
Please.
The energy may be different. The amount of energy that is being plugged into may be a different source.
Well, maybe be a little bit more specific. Okay, this unit is under contract.
So he's saying
and
if you move it under
Because it's
contract,
contracted to a particular address, and if they move, then it's
Exactly. What happened? Here's a scenario, and sometimes we should tell because it's here's what happens. If we find out about that, guess what?
it's void.
Void. Okay, so
First of all, let me answer. Can I roll off a few answers?
Go ahead. Roll
That's
them
very
off.
dumb first.
Roll them off.
Do not do that. Even if you're with a PM or not, don't do that yet. Get the right. First of all, if it's under contract, you better let us know.
Yeah.
Secondly, even if you aren't, you make sure you have all your due diligence done, your research, what you're doing. To move it from there is not smart. The reason is because we went there and assessed it per where it was at, per the conditions, and if it was the right temperatures and the right landscape
and the load
and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we gave them that quote and that coverage for the year. Once you take it out of that, it's a different game. It could be a different load. It could be a different utility. It could be somewhere different. It'll change the specs. It's a different ball game.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting different readings, different everything. So for me, it would void because it doesn't honor the original agreement.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. You know, you could, when you hear terms and conditions, you think of there's a lot of verbiage. The truth of it is there's really not a lot of verbiage to our service agreements.
There's not.
There's just things that are different. There's like 5 or 6 things that are different between the silver and the gold. The gold and platinum are identical except for the call window.
Correct.
Okay, and the response time. They're identical agreements.
Agreed.
So it's like 5 or 6 things that the account manager on the front end should really point out to the customer.
Agreed.
And then you have it all solved. Okay, so that's a big one. The
But
movement
these are
of
also
equipment.
these checks and balances are in place, so you don't have that like switcheroo.
Mm-hmm.
The terms and conditions have happened because of lessons learned, process improvements, where we've had customers or you've had someone say, "Hey, it's not here; it's at this building." I'm like, "What?"
That's happened.
Yeah. Where they've moved it, they've relocated, and there was no, like, well, that changes the game. 3-phase power, single-phase power, utility, 240, or 480, it changes the whole layout. It's like having a car it's the same thing for me personally, but on a smaller scale. When you drive in Chicago because of the weather, it's different when you drive your car in Arizona. There's different landscapes, so your car will be handling for different reasons.
Yeah, it's going to perform different too.
It will perform different. Here, your batteries, you have to change your car battery. You have to change out a lot quicker. In Chicago, it lasts you about 2.5 to 3 years. Go ahead, Cassandra.
It's wild because
It
I
is.
moved from that area. And I say that loosely because I moved from Illinois, but I always tell people that I moved from Chicago because they know where Chicago is, but they don't know where my hometown is.
Yeah.
But my car came from like snow and rain and sleet and stuff, drove it all the way down here. And now like my brakes are my brakes, but I would have to replace my brakes or my rotors a lot more
Yeah.
in Illinois, and my tires even. I would have to switch my tires.
Yeah. I never had to
different.
change my glass on my front car in Chicago. I never had a cracked window. Here,
Oh my God.
it's
I
like
got
the rocks know, oh, that's a new window. We're going to destroy you.
I got 2 new
It's
since I moved here.
It's the same concept for UPS to bring it back in and reel it in. Is
Well, guess
you
what?
change locations.
Yeah, guess what? Chris hit it right on the head. He made it simple. That's one of the things I like about Chris. He keeps things simple. Okay, here it is right here. Predicting problems. That's what PMs do.
That's a
They
PM.
but the key word there is predict.
Yeah.
Predicting, because you want to be proactive in your
Correct.
repairs, because some repairs occur
You can
without
see
there
it.
being a problem, but
Correct.
that kind of thing. So
I agree.
yeah. So let's go on to the platinum contract. I mentioned that there really is no difference between the gold and the platinum other than 2 things. Okay, the call window, which now extends to 7 times 24. So you basically have full coverage. Okay, any day of the week, holidays, weekends, doesn't matter what time. And the response time is more aggressive. You're now at 4 hours to respond. Let me talk about that for a second. We look at response time 2 ways. We look at it via phone, which in our terms and conditions state that within 30 minutes, guess what? If you don't get a technician immediately, you're going to have one call you back within 30 minutes and get on that problem, whatever it might be. And it's not always a down unit. It could be something that they're reading on the screen that they don't know about.
Yeah.
Let me hit that real quick. Tech calls like that, we get them every week, every day, tech calls. And about 85% of them we're able to resolve right over the phone with the field engineer and the customer or
Correct.
whoever it is in front of the machine at the time. The other thing that's different is the response time. I'm talking between the gold and the platinum agreement. The response time is 4 hours now. Okay, there have been times in order to meet that response time where we actually have had to put a field engineer on a plane because of where the call came in from to get them there within that range. But again, it's still a continuous effort, best effort response. That's what we're shooting for.
We have a good track record of it. And like you said months ago, when Justin was on, do we sleep? Yeah, we sleep. So we have the service, we have people, we have on calls. And, that's what helps reduce the call times, the windows. And we have, we meet those requirements of expectations.
Yeah. And, it's kind of a security blanket. I think I have.
It is.
Hey, can you put that up, Jesse, that image? I can't remember what number
The
it
one
is.
with the sucking the thumb?
Yeah. This is basically what a service agreement is, if you're talking platinum or gold. And if Jesse, I know I didn't give you a number, so it's going to take, there it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Charlie Brown.
Security. If you're an IT manager, you go home at night and you have no coverage.
Doesn't
Who
feel
knows? Who knows when that field engineer is going to show up?
Exactly.
If you have no coverage.
good. Exactly.
But if you've purchased coverage, you expect that field engineer to be there, right?
Agreed. Yep.
Yeah. So that's basically what it is. Hey, can we do a quick count too on subscribers?
Yeah, let me check.
All right. So we got YouTube Highlander. Well, Do you help the customer when they are looking to move or maybe yes, we do.
Yeah.
We absolutely do. In fact, that's the reason why we want them to notify us so we can assist, help, provide input to them as they're going through that process. The contract still is put on hold, okay, until the UPS is reinstalled wherever they're going to put it. But yes, we are looking to help them. We do that.
It looks like we're at 927.
That's what I have too.
927, okay. All right. Okay, so that's basically that piece of it, kind of like a high level of what we offer from a service agreement standpoint. So now we're going to bring our special guest back in, and we're going to go to a really, really interesting segment here called Did You Know? We do this every single podcast at the end. We take like 10, 15 minutes, and it's a different kind of like subject each week. But we're going to focus on, I'll let him tell you about it. Go ahead. What's your first Did You Know?
First, did you know is a pretty simple one. Before the 18th century, did you know where diamonds were first found?
Any of our guests know, any of our subscribers chime in if you know. What was the question again? Where diamonds were first found?
Before the 18th century, where were diamonds really found?
Okay. You're talking country or in the earth?
Country.
Okay.
Not Grand Canyon.
No.
Okay.
That isn't. A little bit farther.
I'm gonna while we're waiting on responses to that, I'm gonna let Jesse chime. Jesse, you too. Stephen, I can't pronounce the last name. Let's go, Gruber Power Hour. I feel like y'all need an intro song to the podcast. Might suggest I Got the Power by Snap. Okay, Jesse, please explain why.
Yeah, we have just copyright is a big thing on YouTube. So what we're gonna do, I've had a couple of requests from both Elvis and Claude about getting some music on the show. I'm gonna look into some stuff that is not going to get us in trouble with music labels.
You ready for this though?
I'll do what I can.
Steven is a master musician. I challenge you, Steve, because I know him, Giorgio, personally. You write a
custom
Gruber
song.
You write a Gruber Power Hour song, and I'll listen to it, and we'll check it out. And if it gets the thumbs up, we'll play it on here. I'm good with that.
How do you pronounce his last name?
Steven Giorgio.
Okay.
Giorgio.
Okay.
Hats off, but I appreciate you always. You go with that if he writes one, because he composes music,
All right,
and he's
Grant,
a talented one.
Grant, you got some
All right, so I
responses?
see some answers on
I'm gonna say Russia.
some answers. And believe it or not one of them, unfortunately, is correct. So that we had Africa, Australia, the United States, and Arizona. The actual answer is India.
India. Okay.
India.
Wow.
Now they're mainly mined in where?
Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah. I know that part now.
Did you know? Did you know that there are 2 planets within our solar system where it rains diamonds?
Wow.
It
Rains diamonds.
Cassandra,
I mean, so it goes up to down, right?
you just stomped her. She's confused. Like,
No,
yeah, we're going. I know.
what? No, one of them Jupiter.
One of them is Jupiter.
Yo!
Very good.
So
Can you
put a-
guess
Go
the
grab
other
some.
one?
I need to pay off some bills.
What's the other one?
Saturn.
Now, science believe that between these, very good. Saturn would be the
I
other one.
got lucky. It's only because my kid, when they're in school, when they're on certain phases, like the planets, they tell me everything. Right now, we're in the dinosaurs, or we're in right now we're in the animals. So I'm learning a lot about animals from my kids.
Well, it's good. You're learning
I
stuff
only
from
knew
your kid. I
Saturn
love
because
that.
my oldest loved planets.
Well, think of this. Think of this in the
That's the only reason I
think
knew.
of this in the atmosphere. It's raining diamonds.
Right. You know how that's happening?
Mm-mm.
So carbon soot is in the upper atmospheres of these 2 planets, right? As the planets are going around with the circular motion, there's a bunch of lightning on both of these planets. When lightning hits the carbon soot, it turns into graphite, and then it hardens as it goes down because of the pressure of those 2 planets that bring it down to, not to their crust, because those planets are gas giants, but that's how diamonds are formed. Scientists believe that there's about 1,000 tons of diamonds raining on these 2 planets over the year.
And we can't
every year.
harvest them or anything
Yeah,
like that?
that's where I was going
Good
to
luck.
employ. That's where I was going to employ Pete Gruber, because
You
Pete
said good
Pete
luck.
Gruber. Listen to this. Pete Gruber has a phenomenal relationship with Elon Musk. Pete,
I got an
get
idea.
on it right now.
I already
Get a spaceship built.
No.
You and I and everybody else can become rich if we just go out
Claude,
there
I got
with
a
a
better
strainer.
idea for Pete. we shoot them into a Tesla to Saturn, and we just have a rope. We just reel them back in
with a strainer, catching diamonds.
Exactly.
Catching diamonds.
If he gets the Cybertruck Tesla that they love and they're really big on, because you can't break the glass on those, besides that one time with the bat, you get him there. Jesse saw what I did there. We get Pete in that Tesla truck and we bring him in. And we shoot him out and bring him in.
Hey, you know what I'm curious about too, Grant, is what do they look like? I mean, because the image I have of raining diamonds is shiny.
I love it.
Wouldn't that be pretty, like
Shiny.
rain, kind of like shining like rain?
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, diamond crystals, there's no way that we can.
This
But why
isn't
not?
one of them. Look at this beast.
No, that's not quite a diamond crystal.
Oh, nice. Look, he's got the
So what am I opening?
diamond bags.
There we go. Let's just take
Check this out. We're looking
let's
at.
take this big one.
Ooh.
You're not going to be able to see this, but you can hold it up with your.
There. So this is about a centimeter. It's square. The diamond crystal is almost like a square.
Look at that. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, put
Put
it
it
like
on
more
over
here
near
too,
his
because
white shirt.
it'll contrast. You can kind of see it looks like a little nugget,
And this little thing weighs pretty good.
barely, and that's a rough diamond, right?
This is a rough diamond.
Rough
and I have a
diamond.
bunch of other little smaller ones. But most people think that diamond is rare. And it's rare, but it's actually one of the more plentiful crystals on Earth. It's just hard to get to. And what I mean by that, there's actually 2 gemstones that actually form in the upper mantle or in the mantle.
That are harder to get.
Well, you can't get into the mantle, but meaning
The gems,
only
I mean.
2 gemstones out of all the gemstones and all the rocks that you're familiar with. There's 2 gemstones that actually form below the Earth's crust,
Just
and
2.
that would be diamond. And then, does anybody want to give this?
I'm
give
going to
an
say
answer for the second
wolfenite
one?
because I know that's Arizona's gemstone, wolfenite.
That's
Hey,
close, but it's actually peridot.
Okay, I don't know peridot.
Peridot, and then I think you mentioned peridot on your last
What was that,
episode as well.
Cass?
That's
But-
my birthstone.
Is that right?
a peridot.
Peridot?
August,
Yep.
Mine's
Very
a
good.
lump of coal. My
April.
birthstone. No, I'm just throwing out. I don't
'cause-
look at any of that.
Oh.
Probably half of the rocks in Grand Canyon are my birthstones. I have no idea. I don't check into birthstones.
What month were you born?
January.
January is garnet.
Granite?
Garnet.
Okay.
Not
Probably
granite.
granite because
You get a lot of
Romanians work
granite
with
in
granite.
this.
Romanians deal with
Garnet.
granite for your countertops. I know a few guys. Now
All
I got a gemstone diamond guy. Look at that.
Back in actually 2005, if I can look at something
Yeah,
here.
go
Back in
ahead.
2005, there was a mission in space that came back, and on the astronaut suit that the astronaut was wearing, they found a bunch of peridot dust on that suit.
Wow.
So peridot comes from meteorites.
That's really interesting because
And
that's a real.
It
Because
comes
that's
from
like
meteorites and it's in our crust.
Yeah.
And it's in our crust. Only
Fascinating.
2 stones in our crust: diamond, peridot, and then peridot is actually pretty plentiful out in space.
In space, okay.
Interesting.
Let's find another good. Did you know? So, what do people think is the rarest gemstone on Earth?
Yeah, there's another
Rarest.
question. The rarest gemstone
And
on
minerals.
Earth.
Let's call it the rarest gemstone and mineral on Earth.
In the meantime, let's read Stephen George, who said if he only had a good drummer so he could write a song. He's referring to me because he knows I play drums, and he says I'm not that good. Trying to take a crack at me. Neutron Dance by the Pointer Sisters is
As a theme song.
a theme song. Rhonda Haas said, what?
He was
Kim-
referring to the diamonds.
Chemistry says, go Cass. I'm guessing that Rhonda Haas says Uranus, Lenny Hodge, Saturn has.
I like that Saturn has rings, so it needs diamonds. That's a good one.
That's a great one.
All right, so the rarest gemstone. I don't know if anybody's going to get it because, believe it or not, before I actually wrote this up, I didn't even know. And I'm a gemologist. So the rarest gemstone is actually painite.
I don't know what that is.
Painite.
I don't know what painite is.
If we can go to image number 6.
Image number 6.
It's got to look ridiculous.
Okay, YouTuber Highlander, my resume shows I used to work with quartz, and you have my resume now. I emailed it to you just before the show.
Hey, we'll check it after. Thanks. Got to give us a minute.
So on the right, you'll see painite as a crystal, and then there's a cut form of it, faceted form.
All right, so that's the rarest gemstone on Earth.
Rarest
what are we talking about
and mineral on Earth.
What are we talking about as far as dollars here?
Dollar-wise on painite, great question. Can run as high as like $30,000 a carat or more.
Wow.
The bigger the stone could exponentially raise that like 5 to 7 times higher.
Now,
Man.
how much is a carat? Can you do that convert for us? Like
A carat? So, all right, well, let me do this. Let me say, or did you know the largest diamond ever found is called the Cullinan diamond, and it was 3,106 carats. That's 1.39 pounds. 3,100 carats would be a 1.39 pound diamond.
Only 1.3 pounds? Almost 1.4.
You know what you're saying only? Right here. Take this. That's 1 pound of water. Feel how heavy that is. Okay, so that diamond is heavier than that. So can you imagine how big that rock is?
Not that heavy to me.
No, put that rock around your
I'm getting
neck.
greedy.
Rock was like this. Now, it wasn't actually cut into one stone.
If I can get it on a chain, then I'm curious. Like, put it around your neck. Great. Give me some blenders, the blender shades. Give me the hat and give me that. Then I'm
man.
good. Then I'm prime time. Then I'm good. I will take that any day.
There
You
it
said
is right
put it
there.
on your neck.
There it is right there.
That looks like ice.
Isn't that cool?
That's not
So
melting.
that stone didn't end up getting cut into one stone. That got
looks
cut into
crazy.
like 500 stones.
I
And
bet
most of it's
right-
with the crown jewels in England.
Oh, really? Royalty. They always get first dibs.
All right. What is the most expensive gemstone?
Most expensive.
Most expensive.
Peridot?
A gemstone, I'll give you a hint, has what's called a play of color, a change of color in the stone. Sandra?
Is it not opal?
No, that actually opal is opalescence. So change that's similar, but
like
it's a
real
different
opal.
type of
Oh,
a different type of change of element. But this changes actually from the kind of lighting you're in. So in daylight, this stone would be green, and in incandescent light or lights that you have inside your house, not the fluorescent, it would turn to red, purple. So the stone name is
I don't know.
Alexandrite,
Yeah, I would.
Right.
which comes from the Ural Mountains, generally in Russia.
And that's the most expensive stone?
Yeah, it could. Except I did find a stone that actually, well, a Burmese ruby sold for $1 million a carat a few years back. So technically that was, but as far as if you had a bunch of stones, and the most expensive gemstone would be Alexandrite.
No wonder you're retired. All you deal with is pricey stones. I mean, that's a
Let's
great,
see if we actually have an image. Could you put up image number 2?
awesome. And then Highlander says, where would paradise fall on the periodic table of elements? I don't know. Starseed Peridot, that's her birthstone. Very cool. Rhonda has guessed opal as the most expensive. So this is the one
Good
you're
guesses.
talking about,
So here's-
Alexandria.
You see on the left, it's the same exact stone.
That's wild.
That's daylight, natural light,
And it looks more
versus
purple to me,
incandescent
yeah.
light, which is unnatural light.
Yeah.
Really pretty.
I actually looked at rings with Alexandrite.
There you go. Pretty,
on
isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Do you know
Is that
the
a hint
only
to your guy watching?
organically grown gemstone?
That's a good one.
What's the question?
Organically grown gemstone.
You find them at Whole Foods? If it's organic? It's a
Could be.
joke. But I don't know.
Crickets. I need a cricket on my
That
soundboard
was
over
a
there.
cricket. Yeah, I can't do whatever
Amber.
cricket. Amber? Amber's organic.
Amber is grown with tree sap that ends up crystallizing
that makes-
into a
That makes great.
form of an amber.
Oh, wow.
And amber can have like the most expensive amber wouldn't necessarily be the amber that's just perfectly. And an amber is the color as well, right?
Yeah.
It's like a brownish,
Gold brown, yeah.
goldish brownish red.
Yeah.
You want inclusions in amber in order for it to be very expensive.
Wow.
Like
So
an
that's the
insect
organic.
could be found in a piece of amber. You
Well,
find
yeah,
like a mosquito or something.
From the movie Jurassic, they did
Sure.
it to that. Remember with
Yeah.
the amber and the mosquito, and they pulled the DNA because the mosquito stung a dinosaur, and that's how they started that whole franchise of it was in the amber.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm a movie guy.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's
Okay, we got another
fascinating.
one here from Kim. Oh, actually, Brandon Ream says so pretty. I guess he's referencing one of those gemstones
Yeah.
we put up there. And then another one from Kim Estrie. Elvis, I think that would look great on Valine.
On one of the gems or the
No, it's talking about the big, humongous diamond. He was the Colundum, called it.
Cullinan.
Cullinan diamond.
And then
Yeah.
let me go
yeah, I
back
got
to,
a guy.
I forgot to
so
say
hopefully he hooks me up so I can
that
buy her one.
on that painite stone that I mentioned was the rarest gemstone.
Mhm.
First of all, that was found in 1951.
Wow,
Right? They're finding new minerals and gemstones basically every day
every day now.
and all over the world.
But just on the value is why it's more, I don't know, important or.
But the Guinness Book of World Records actually had it as the rarest gemstone in their
Wow.
book back in 2004. There were only 24 specimens in the whole world at that time, back in 2004.
Fascinating.
Got another one from Rhonda Haas, Dino DNA.
Dino DNA. She's that's
Yeah.
a quote from Jurassic Park. Good job, great stuff, Rhonda.
Then Highlander, wow, what a changing color.
And the two differences in the green and the purple.
Yeah, the
That's what he's
Alexandrite.
referring- Yeah,
Yeah.
that it is crazy to see that it's the same. It's
Other
lighting.
gemstones do that, change the color too. There's a watermelon tourmaline that does it as well. And watermelon tourmaline
have
can
one of
either be
those.
transparent
Wow.
or translucent.
Wow.
Mainly you see it in more of a translucent form when it changes, when it has that green red.
Claude's the one that taught me about daylight effect of rocks and gems. He'd always tell me, hey, take this one, clean it, and put it in daylight. Or let me show you this in daylight. Because he would show it to me like if we got to a hike and it was dark, and when he put it in daylight, it looked like magnificent. It looked
Yeah.
so expensive, where he always said, like, this thing in daylight, I'm going to show it to you after it's clean and in daylight. You're going to lose your mind. And of course, when I get into his office, he always has these ones displaying stuff like this, and even, as grand. And I see him like, oh, cool. And then I sit down and I see him in the daylight, and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, there's energy in there.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another did you know? Did you know that, well, let me ask it this way. Well, no, let me put it this way. Change it up. There's a gemstone that you've heard of called sapphire,
Yeah.
right? Sapphire is what colors?
Black.
Every color, right? Sapphire could be pretty much any color
Besides
other
one.
than
Clear.
Green.
red,
Oh.
which then that would then be called a ruby. So ruby and sapphire are both the exact same stones. They're both corundums.
Man.
Red is only ruby. Sapphire would be every other color.
Hmm.
You're rocking my world with all this stuff.
Emerald,
I caught that.
my
I caught
goodness.
it.
aquamarine, same thing. Same stone. They're both beryls. Emerald could be pretty much
I have to.
green
man.
that you're used to. Could be red, which is another really rare stone called bixbyite that we talked about the other day. And then the blue or the aqua color would be the aquamarine. So emerald, aquamarine, same
You
stone.
guys mentioned Big
Interesting.
Bite like the day ago or two. How come someone bought it, or you guys were looking at
No,
it?
we
Big
were just talking about different rare
Yeah.
stones.
Yeah.
Big Bite. I heard. I
But
just
it's-
remember
but
the
it-
name.
But it's in the Burl classification of
Okay.
stones. Yeah.
And
I
very expensive.
Wow.
You can't really find it. It's,
Okay.
It's, what is it? Thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, for a crystal like this,
Wow.
a red crystal like that.
Highlander says there's plenty of amber in the Black Sea. Can't find it because it's black.
Okay. Jesse, real quick
Let
on
me
it.
see.
Real quick on the
Dark.
Mhm.
subscriber check.
I say 930. I'm taking a guess.
I'm getting 929.
Ooh.
29.
So
You were close.
it's up to you guys though what you want to do, because technically one thing here we could
Ooh.
do a couple things. We could push it out till next week and give them a 3-day extension till the 3rd is the next show, because you guys missed an episode this month. So we didn't really do a full...
Oh, man, I didn't think about that.
We didn't really do a full push this month because you guys were in the Grand Canyon for one of the episodes. That's not really fair to the audience. So we could either give it away now or we could push it another week. It's up to you.
You know what? Here's what we're going to do. And again,
Technicalities.
this is what I was talking about with our special guest here. This is actually his idea, and I think it's a wonderful idea. So he suggested if we do not hit 1,000, is to push it out another week. And just raise the amount.
Jesse just said that. So who are you copying?
I wasn't
just kidding.
finished. Just raise the amount to 1,050. Okay.
There you go.
So
I'm
we'll
down.
do that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to extend it out another week, the November 3rd show, and the new target will be 1,050.
I love it.
Thank you for that. I like that a lot.
That's a great, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a great point to be very honest that he's 100% is we did miss a week. And that could have been an impactful and that could have got us to it.
What week did we
Technically.
miss?
The Grand Canyon weekend, remember?
I was here in spirit.
I mean, I guess. Well, it
That's
didn't
true.
get all the way to the computer
But it
because
didn't get on
no
the
one was
TV,
there.
though.
It didn't get on the TV.
Oh, wow.
Hey,
But
you
then-
know
Spirit
what?
didn't get on TV.
For the sake of Halloween, ooh, that's so spooky.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, whoever said they wanted something spooky, he said he was in spirit.
I was.
Ooh.
I was here
Well,
in
that
spirit.
didn't help us get to 1,000.
We did the podcast from the Grand Canyon. Nobody watched, though.
And so we didn't either. I was not focused on, oh, I hope they're watching. I'm like, I hope I make out of this thing. That's what I was focused on. It was not easy.
Focusing on your blood pressure, huh?
And not dying.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to
That's
check
where
my
I would
blood
be, too.
pressure. Yeah. I mean, and I was just like, man, and I was focusing on him because he kept on bringing up more rocks than food and water. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to make it.
Well, I
on
was talking with Claude last night. And he was like, my backpack was heavy on the way down, but it actually was heavier on the way up.
That's his step. Every single time coming back up, he's just pulling. And every time we take a break, he starts cataloging. He throws stuff away just like this. I'm like, dude, trying to dodge all these rocks that he's like.
Well, that's how you wind up with the Primo collection.
Primo rocks. Yeah, and then I get a few too.
Yeah.
Thanks,
exactly.
Claude.
Yeah.
And I don't have
You
to
did?
do the
Did
work.
you carry it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
I don't tell him I want him until we finish. I'm like,
Oh,
hey,
that's
did
smart.
you bring me some rocks?
He immediately said no. There was no time lapse at all. in
He's
his
like, hey, do you
response.
want to bring? I'm like, no.
Nope.
I didn't let him finish the sentence.
And guys,
Like,
just a
not only
reminder
to bring-
too, for the audience, right? We had a lot more people watching than usual today, probably partly because of our special guest, partly because of the giveaway, all that stuff. You guys
Yep.
had a lot of good info. Just a reminder for everybody out there in the audience, you do have to be here next week in the chat,
Live.
chatting to be able to be there for the giveaway.
Yes.
And we're gonna hit that. What are we?
And
what is
thanks
that,
for
like
all of
a-
you for joining.
What is that, like 100?
Thank you so much.
We need like 100, right?
I mean, Claude, what we did in the last 2 days was like 110 stretch.
Well,
like
what everybody did. Everybody that we
When I
recognized.
say what we did, I mean
Yeah.
the whole clan. I mean them all.
You
And
need
look,
111 at this point.
yeah, Highlanders. This is so informative. Chemistry. Let's finish this out. I tried, guys. Jesse with the loophole. No, Kim, you are fantastic. Your efforts are respected, and we acknowledge it, and we can't say thank you enough. Aaron Realm, India for diamonds. True. And Rhonda Haas, love loopholes. Yeah, exactly. Today it's in your favor. And Jesse and Grant had a great idea, and I was all for it. And then Highlander said, "Give it now." Nope,
Give it now.
we're not.
Give it now. All right. Well,
The
that's
TV. He wants the raffle now. Not going to happen.
Well,
You're
that's-
lucky we're giving him an extension.
all right. Well, that's all the comments, and we're going to go ahead and close the show out. And I just want to thank you, Grant, for
Thank you, too.
for coming on the set and bringing those. Did you knows? Those were awesome.
And
Amazing.
I really appreciate
Yeah.
the opportunity to come and actually see what I've been watching for 21 episodes.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
And you've been a huge part
actually
of it.
20 because I didn't get the first one, but
You
it's
go
really
rewatch
good
it.
information, and it's not only interesting, it's entertaining. So keep it up, guys, and I'll be listening next week and chatting as well.
I love
Cool.
it. And you're part of the inspiration of why we've been doing all coming up with ideas. Did you know was something that you challenged us to, hey, just don't make it so stagnant or so dry. So that was something we came up with, with your direction and guidance, and look where we showed up. So I'm saying, Elvis, thank you guys. I'm good on my end. Claude, who else wants to say goodbye?
See you next week.
See ya.